Take 5. This is Dr. Gaunt, and I am leading a group of 18 research assistants in my anthropological analysis course at Baruch College in a project called the Black Girl YouTube Project in the fall of 2013. I'm helping them learn about digital ethnography. We're reading wonderful books about it. Really remarkable book by Boylstorff and others called Ethnography and Virtual, I forgot the name of the book. Well, the other book that we're reading is called YouTube, Online Video and Participatory Culture, which we're starting to read this week. We're going to be reading a chapter on how YouTube matters, and then we're also going to read back in the end of the book first, before the other chapters, on what happened before YouTube by probably the foremost scholar in digital convergence culture, especially around things like YouTube, Henry Jenkins. And he's going to give us a little context for how we've culturally been ready for something like YouTube. We've done things like it before. And digital anthropology is the study of the relationship between humans and digital era technology, and extends to various areas where anthropology and technology intersect. It's sometimes considered material culture anthropology or sociocultural anthropology. It's a little of both what we're doing. The field is very new and emphasizes the one that we're working on, which is digital ethnography on YouTube. Black girls play a particularly interesting role on YouTube, and since just before the beginning of the semester in August, when Miley Cyrus kind of really hit the circuit, she already was doing this well before August on the VMAs, but she's become kind of synonymous with twerking. So we've been talking about that. We've been trying to understand what twerking is. We're trying to understand the firsthand personal study of both being in YouTube and like understanding how we have to deal with the self-representation of ourselves in a vlog, or creating your own content on YouTube, to what it means to be observers of content created by Black girls, or content that is associated with a representation, not always a good representation, like misrepresentation of Black girls. I wrote myself a long note 2 mornings ago about, I've been focusing in my aspect. Each student is going to take a different take, just like in Mike Wesch's study. He had his research students, his undergraduate students, help him take different angles on the research so we could do kind of a collaborative ethnography, and we're doing the same thing. We'll have some final projects at the end of the semester. And if you'd like to follow on, just subscribe to my YouTube channel here. I wrote the digital anthropology that I'm working on a book on this, since I got triggered by a video of what I considered a significant frontal nudity by Nicki Minaj back in March 8th, which was International Women's Day. It was 24 hours after French Montana's Freaks video featuring Nicki Minaj was released, in which she exposed her boobies with little pasties that were flesh tone, almost the same color as her skin. And it was viewed in less than 24 hours by over 900,000 people. Or at least it had 900,000 views. It's not always 900,000 people. So I've been looking at this whole phenomenon. Really, it started back in January. I've been looking at YouTube statistics. Girls 13 to 17 drive the most significant traffic to these commercially produced YouTube videos, primarily distributed by Vivo. And I have a piece coming out in a book called Remixing Change, Hip Hop and Obama, called YouTube Bad Bitches and a Mic, the Mom in Chief. But I wrote this piece. I'm a digressor, forgive me. I digress. I wrote a note to myself about perhaps the title of the project itself for me, the book, Twerk, exclamation point, Owning Black Girls' Body and Soul. And I love the double entendre of you can't tell if I'm talking about possessive black girls, their own body and soul, or if I'm talking about owning black girls' body and soul, to talk about the kind of intersection between um, feminism. There's a lot of people going around like showing their bodies in YouTube videos, doing selfies of their punani, so to speak. You know what that is. If you don't know what that is, then you need to learn more about black girls. Um, and so it's the intersection of kind of feminism and post-feminism rhetoric about that what you do with your own body is somehow a feminist act, and the intersection of this YouTube technology, the ability to create your own content, um, and then the age-old patriarchy and oppression of the medium that's supposed to be so participatory and so freeing, still subjugating women to the same kinds of bondage, I would say. Maybe that's too strong a word, but I don't think so. Issues of who owns your image, and all those kinds of things. So I made some notes that it would be a digital ethnography of self-representation, seduction, and feminism in mainstream hip-hop and the participatory culture of YouTube. That might be the subtitle. And we're looking at issues of, I'm going to be bringing in some theories to them about the study of misrepresentation and dramaturgical sociology. It's a theory, a critical theory from symbolic interactionism, which means, you know, that we're looking at the ways in which people perceive and interact with symbols, both the material things and objects we create and our bodies, which our bodies are not ourselves directly. Like, especially on YouTube, I don't own how you perceive me. And, you know, I make multiple versions of this is like my sixth take, because I don't like the way I represented